Hello, Calvary. We're back at it again. I'm glad just to be in the number one more time. I pray that you are experiencing a season that's like none other, one that is positive and full of joy. The song says, "Joy to the world, the Lord has come. Let earth receive their King." Today, I would like to share a message from James, the first chapter, the second verse. And it reads as following. It says, "My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience." Joy, joy, joy. If there was one word that I could suggest to you today, is joy. There is nothing in the world like it. In fact, in many ways, I would argue that joy isn't just a feeling, but it's a spiritual quality produced by the Holy Spirit. Joy is often described as a deliberate internal choice, a mindset to maintain positivity, even in the midst of negative circumstances. Joy encourages us to change our perspective in the midst of tests and trials and temptations, and not identifying them as merely a negative experience, but as a reason for pure joy. Because testing of our faith builds perseverance, which leads to spiritual maturity and completeness, equipping us to be more like the Son of God, fully relying on God through hardship, not just comfort. It's about changing and shifting our perspective during this most wonderful time of the year. In fact, I would argue in many ways, joy helps us to face suffering and tests, transforming them into an opportunity for us to mature and grow. Joy helps us overcome challenges by building resiliency and enhancing coping mechanisms and shifting our focus from negative into positive, acting as a superpower that strengthens us mentally and physically, even amidst the pain, by fostering hope, creative thinking, and a deeper sense of peace. This Christmas, I want you to learn how to count every situation and circumstance that you will find yourself in as joy, as an opportunity that if God be for you, no problem, no situation, no circumstance can be against you. No, joy is finding your trials turn into triumph as long as you develop perseverance. I just hope that you can find the kind of perseverance that our old church once had. You know, the one that said, "Jesus is the center of my joy." They understood that all good and perfect things come from God. This year, don't just look for the gift, don't just desire things, but desire joy, because this joy that I have, the world did not give it, therefore, the world cannot take it away. One of the songs that kind of always comes to mind when I talk about joy is The Temptations. You know, when they said, "I've got sunshine on a cloudy day. When it's cold outside, I've got the month of May." I'm just hoping for you, even in the midst of gray clouds, joy implies that you have sunshine. I'm not sure about you, but even when it's cold outside, joy means that you feel the warmth of God. This season, make sure that you're finding yourself experiencing God's joy, because joy is fulfillment even when your life seems chaotic. Joy is trusting God because He has never, ever failed you yet. The old church would say that we ought to learn that they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength, right? And learning how to wait means that we ought to have joy that whenever God shows up, He is going to fight our battles, solve our problems, handle our tasks, deal with our situation and our circumstance. So, therefore, we ought to have joy, because joy produces a quality that causes us to love God more deeply. In this season where there is a mixed bag of emotions and feelings, I want to encourage you to pursue joy. Before I go, I want to share with you 3 ways that you can implement joy into your life. The first thing is practice gratitude. In other words, pay attention of the moments and things that you should appreciate. Number two, shift your perspective. Focus on the positive and don't sulk in the negative. Seek better in your presence and don't focus on your past. Number three, pursue your purpose. Identify your plan and implement practices that point you in the right direction until your purpose is achieved. This Christmas, I'm asking you that you make Jesus the center of your joy. In other words, keep your focus stayed on Him, and I assure you, He will never fail you. In fact, He will never leave you. But in the midst of all that you might be dealing with, I tell you that weeping may endure for a night, but the word reminds us joy comes in the morning. That regardless of whatever is lacking in your life, today you can have joy. God bless you and may heaven smile upon you.